Spotify playlists. I think about them a lot, and in this video, I'm going to teach you what I've discovered by blowing the cover off of a bunch of shady Spotify playlisting activities that end up ripping off artists, stealing money by providing a fake product. And I don't really have a problem with businesses that are geared towards artistry or, have their customer base towards musicians, because like with Guitar Center or Shure microphones, it's fine to have a company that's for artists as long as you're delivering value, right? If you buy a microphone, that microphone's going to deliver value. It's going to perform its function. Same thing with the guitar. If you buy a new Gibson guitar, it's going to be high quality and perform its function. But with Spotify playlist promotion, a lot of companies are charging money and setting up their businesses towards artists, but they're delivering just utter complete garbage, fake streams, bot plays, and playlists that aren't even worth getting on. They're tricking you into believing a certain playlist is valuable when it really isn't. So in this video, I'm going to teach you everything I've learned this year. This is an update to my video that I put out last year about Spotify playlists. This hopefully will be super valuable to you, so watch to the end and let's get started. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name's Ryan from the Indie Music Academy, the channel where we uncover the mysteries of the music industry, learn how to grow a larger fan base, and earn an income from our music. And today, I want to update you on everything I've been learning about Spotify playlists and how to spot the fakes, how to spot the bot playlists, how to know if a playlist is valuable or not, because this is getting really crazy. It's kind of like the Wild West of the music industry. Playlists are pretty much a lawless territory, and it really comes down to the individuals who you decide to work with, the individuals who decide, hey, I'm going to operate within the Spotify terms of service. Hey, I'm going to make sure that I only provide you Spotify playlists that are actually valuable, and the traffic, the type of traffic that the playlist is providing is valuable and not low quality, and definitely not bots. So I just want to dive right in, and the first thing we have to do is define what the goal is as an artist. What is your end goal for getting into a playlist? There are a lot of potential answers to that question. It could be just to boost your numbers, and if we're honest with ourselves, that does matter a little bit because of social media, right? Instagram followers, Spotify followers, right? The numbers do matter a little bit, but that's not really the true reason why playlists are effective and why we want to get on them. And the true reason, I think, is way beyond boosting numbers. The true reason is to get traffic, to get that potential fan coming across your music, right? So numbers matter a little bit, but only if those numbers represent something real. Only if those numbers represent real traffic, just like what I said, because the numbers on their own don't really mean anything. So the numbers, they matter a little bit, but the traffic behind the numbers, that's the real thing that we're after as artists. That's why we want to get into Spotify playlists. It's for the traffic. So now that I've established that the goal of getting on Spotify playlists is so much more than just boosting your numbers, there are contingencies that are now starting to get attached to these placements that we're after, right? It can't just be any placement, right? There are certain things, certain boxes that we want to check off. We can call it our legit playlist checklist if you want. So number one on our playlist checklist is that we want the traffic to be 100% real. We don't want it to be bots, for one, but we also don't want it to be kind of like half real, half authentic, and there's a lot of playlists that are doing this. I just had a conversation over email with a subscriber who was saying that, yeah, they were getting real streams from a certain playlister, but the playlister actually revealed that he was incentivizing these listens with like a point system and gift cards and stuff like that. So there's an alternate reason for them listening, more than just them actually wanting to discover your music. And I'll go over that more in a future video because it's a really interesting story that I want to dive into deeper. So that to me is not 100% authentic streams. There's some kind of backdoor hidden shadiness that's going on that is artificially generating this traffic that's not the kind of traffic that you want. You want people to discover your music and engage with your music, not be basically a human robot and try to stream your music just to get gift cards. The second part of that is we want listeners who are engaging in the normal patterns on Spotify, on the Spotify app, right? So we want listeners who are liking songs, who are using the Spotify search bar, who are following artists, right? We don't want those streams to come from another app, right? Another app that these playlist companies are putting together to artificially generate these streams. And those are not bots, right? These are human streams, they'll say, but they are incentivized in some other way. And you'll find out that if streams are coming from another app, then the IP address will all come from one random city wherever that server is located. So that does not look like normal activity to Spotify either, right? Normal activity to Spotify looks like a bunch of listeners in a bunch of different cities all listening to your music and then listening to other music and using the search bar and finding playlists with the search bar. I'll talk more about that in a bit. And lastly, we don't want all the streams coming from just one place, right? Or 90% of the streams aren't just coming from one city. This could be a sign of some kind of off-platform server, like what I just mentioned, but it could also be a sign of just really low quality, cheap Facebook ads or Instagram ads that are coming from cheap countries, right? From overseas countries, and they're just pumping it into this playlist to generate a lot of traffic, but it's not the kind of traffic you want. And that leads us to our last checklist item. We want to get listeners that are using the biggest feature on the Spotify app, the Spotify search bar, right? If you think about it, how do people discover playlists? How do people use the app? And the answer to that is the search bar. So if a playlist is not appearing in search, if they're not like in the top 10 of the search results when you type in the name of the playlist or the keyword, then those are playlists that you don't want to be on, because that means they have to resort into some other method of generating that traffic. So to recap the 4 items on our checklist that we want as artists when we get on a playlist. Number 1, we want a real increase in traffic. And I'm talking about a real increase, not just bumping the numbers up, right? We actually want real people. And that goes to number 2. We want these people to be 100% human, no bots, no server farms, no off-site apps that are incentivizing for whatever reason and coming in through a remote server that looks really sketchy in your analytics and sketchy for Spotify. Number 3, we don't want really low quality Facebook ads that are just getting a lot of people, but not the right kind of people. And you can see this in the analytics where you can clearly see when these playlisters turn off the ads, they lose playlist followers by the thousands a day because there's just no stick. These people are not interested in being on that playlist to begin with. And fourth and most important, we do want that playlist to rank in the search results, because that's the only real way that you can use the Spotify app to discover playlists. That's how the app is designed to be used. Following the items in this checklist helps us reach our goal that we established at the beginning of this video. The goal of actually getting visibility to our music and the chance of making that great first impression so that we can impress a future fan. So now that we have our goal defined as artists, and we also have our checklist of everything we're looking for in a legit playlist, how do we actually test those playlists to know if our standards are being met? How do we check each and every point on that checklist to know if a playlist is worthwhile? To answer this question, I first need to teach you about the 3 types of Spotify playlists you'll find: Spotify-owned playlists, user-owned playlists, and then user-owned playlists that actually rank in the search results. First, Spotify owned playlists. And these are easy. These are the ones that are made by Spotify. They are in two categories, the algorithmic playlists and the curated playlists. Algorithmic playlists are the ones that are made based off of your listening tastes, like your daily mixes. And then they also are generated through the artist radio and stuff like that. There's lots of options. And then there are the curated playlists. And these are the ones that everyone wants to get on. They have huge audiences and you have to submit to them directly through your Spotify for Artists portal. Okay, so those are the Spotify owned playlists. Next, we have user created playlists, and anyone can create a playlist as a user. I can create a playlist, you can create a playlist. I've done it for just storing songs that I want to listen to later, or storing inspiration for songwriting as a songwriter myself. And there are millions and millions of these user created playlists on Spotify. And that's why I wanted to break this category out into a new category that I don't know if anyone's really talked about it in this way, but this is how I think of it. There is a third category of user playlists that actually rank in the search results, right? So we have Spotify owned playlists that are massive, massive playlists. Then we have the user created playlists, but there are user created playlists that are never discovered. They never see the light of day. They don't appear in the search results, but we do have a very small percentage of playlists, probably less than 1% if I were to take a guess, of playlists that do rank in the search results that are owned by individuals, that are owned by users of Spotify like you and me. And the difference is that they rank. Ranking is everything. Ranking means that if you type in a keyword like relaxing music, the playlist appears in the search results right here, and you can always see more. But if you're way down here, that's kind of like being on the 5th page of Google, right? If you're on the 5th page of Google, you don't exist, right? You want to rank high. You want to rank at the top of Google, and you want to rank at the top of the Spotify search results as well. And so if someone is using Spotify, using the Spotify app, and they want to discover music, they want to search for music like relaxing music, for example, they're going to choose something in this top row almost guaranteed, right? If you're on the Spotify app, the app can only display so many options as well. So you do want to rank high. And this is the difference between user playlists that are valuable and user playlists that are like on the 5th page of Google. They're not valuable at all. They're not going to get discovered organically, and playlisters will have to resort to other methods of traffic generation like the ones that I mentioned earlier, right? Kind of like black hat, backdoor ways of getting people to hit play on your song, but it's not the real thing. It's not the real deal. Listeners of music on Spotify and users of the Spotify app, well, they use the app. They use the search bar. And that's a non-negotiable for me when I'm looking for playlists for my own music, and I'm looking for the artists that I really care about at the Indie Music Academy when I'm helping them with finding playlists for their music too. That really matters. Ranking really matters. It's really the difference between a valuable playlist and one that is just not worth being on at all. Now let's talk really quick about what ranking really means, right? Whether you're on Google or you're on Spotify or using anything with a search bar, there's an algorithm behind those search results. There's an algorithm specific to the order in which search results appear, right? And the order matters because if you're high up, and this is true for Google, this is true for YouTube as a YouTube content creator myself, and it's true for Spotify, right? If you're high up in the search results, what that means is that the platform, whether it's Spotify or YouTube, they value that content. They value that playlist, right? There is a real analytical backing behind the rankings, right? Because if a playlist wasn't getting streamed a lot, if there was not a lot of traffic on the playlist, if the playlist was getting low quality traffic and low quality listeners, then the platform would punish that playlist and rank it lower, right? On the other hand, if a playlist is thriving and it's organically being discovered. And once people click on the search result, this is really important, right? Once people click on the search result and they stay there and they're happy and they're listening, then the algorithm will reward that piece of content. That's true for Google, that's true for YouTube videos as well. For example, if you searched a topic and my video came up and you clicked on my video and watched the whole thing, that's sending a signal to YouTube saying that video is great, high quality content. On the other hand, if you clicked on my video and then you clicked away immediately, that would show a mismatch in the rankings and then I would be punished. So that's a little SEO lesson, because SEO applies to anything with a search bar, and Spotify is no exception. So now that you know this, there's actually a clear hierarchy that emerges as to which playlists are valuable and which are not. For example, the Spotify owned playlists, those are really valuable. You want to get on those, you want to get on curated playlists. That's why it's so worth it to roll the dice and submit your song in the Spotify for Artists portal, right? Because those playlists are rare. There's only a certain amount of Spotify owned playlists and they have a lot of great traffic. But secondly, playlists that rank in the search results are rare as well, right? There are only a limited number of playlists that actually rank. And the playlists that do not rank and are not getting traffic from the search results, there are, for all intensive purposes, an unlimited amount of those, because I can just go and create a playlist right now, fill it up with a bunch of songs in your style, but it won't rank. And I can send ads to it. I can do all kinds of sketchy black hat marketing strategies to grow the playlist. But at the end of the day, it's not real. So there's really only two types of playlists you want to ever get on: Spotify owned playlists and ones that rank in the search results. Now, you don't have to rank first, right? Because that would really limit the number of playlists, because most of the playlists that rank first are Spotify owned. But just because you rank third, fourth, fifth, even sixth and seventh doesn't mean you're not going to get traffic. People do scroll down a little and shop for playlists, so to speak. So now that you know all this, there's actually a clear framework that emerges that you can follow to know if a playlist is worthwhile or not, right? The ones that are not searchable, not discoverable, the ones that are just getting pumped with low quality traffic, or there's some kind of weird server activity going on, right? Those are not what you want. And if playlisters are reaching out to you, asking you to pay to get on a playlist, and this playlist is not ranking, you're basically just paying for their Facebook ads. It's basically like a Ponzi scheme where you're getting charged to pay for their ads to artificially grow their playlist, and then their playlist looks active so that the next artist will get scammed and they're paying for their future ads, and they're just skimming off the top, whatever profit there ends up being. But that's not the type of situation you want to get in for your music. You actually want to get into playlists that are valuable. Just like how I said at the beginning of the video, you actually want a Shure microphone or a Gibson guitar. You don't want to pay Gibson guitar prices and then get a knockoff. You don't want to get something fake. And that is what I'm seeing 9 times out of 10 with Spotify playlists. There are a lot of playlists out there that are offering what seems to be a legit option. They're saying things like 100% organic, real listeners. But the fact of the matter is that if you take a deep look at it, they're not actually delivering on their promise. They are not actually doing what they're saying that they're doing. And now that you've seen this video, you can actually do the checks and balances. You can follow my Spotify legitimacy checklist that I talked about earlier in this video and find out for yourself if this playlist is even worthwhile. As we've learned from history, as we've learned from watching Ponzi schemes in the past, they all collapse eventually. And I'm going to collapse this one right now by saying, if you are in a playlist or you got sold a placement claiming to be 100% legit, but that playlist is not ranking or anywhere to be found in the Spotify search results, then you just got scammed. And I 100% believe that to be true. Just think about it. Not every playlist can be valuable. Not every single Spotify playlister out there can claim that they have the best playlist in the world for your music. And the sad thing is that we get filled with so much excitement about this new playlist that we're about to get on that we don't stop to think that playlists are actually rare. The playlists that we want to get on are not dime a dozen. They are in the single digits sometimes for some genres. And if you don't know that, and if no one tells you that, then it's not your fault for not knowing. That has to be learned, and hopefully I was able to teach you my methods on how I decide whether a playlist is worthwhile, so you can adopt those techniques and you can know if you're getting a worthwhile placement or not. Hold out for something that's real. That means quality over quantity. I'd rather have one playlist that is just kicking butt, it ranks in the Spotify search engine, and I'm confident that that playlist will not wreck my career with bots or weird ads or doing any sketchy tactics, compared to 10 playlists that looks good, but it's super risky. And we all know what the Spotify terms of service are. We all know about bots. We all know that Spotify playlists are kind of the Wild West. And so you need to be diligent about this, and you need to make sure that you work with someone that you can trust. Before this video ends, or before you click to another video, I want you to check out some documents that I've made that go even more in depth on the topics I talked about in this video, okay? I want you to learn more so that you can be educated about Spotify playlists, because if it doesn't rank, if it doesn't follow our legitimacy checklist, then they're just imitators, and I want you to have the real deal. And also, I help artists get onto these legitimate playlists. So if you need help, there's a link in the description below. I can help you get in contact with influencers that own playlists that actually rank in the Spotify search results, right? These are the 1% of playlists that actually check off every single box, they pass every test, and they're the most valuable playlists on Spotify. So if you're interested in that, I'm going to leave a link in the description below where we can get in touch as well. Guys, thanks so much for watching to the end of this video, and if this video was helpful to you, hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell, do everything you can to support this channel, because it helps me do more research and create more helpful videos to help your music career. And if you are interested in seeing more or interested in getting in touch with me, I have a website called the Indie Music Academy. It's indiemusicacademy.com, and I hope to see you there, where we could continue your training and we can get connected further. Guys, thanks so much, and I'll see you in a future video on my channel.